Hi, this is Glenda. I have been making block cards because they look like a stack of blocks. And this was another one that I hadn't seen anywhere, and Deb Velder showed it, and I didn't know if she'd invented it or not. So anyway, I followed her tutorial, and the thing is, it folds flat for putting in an envelope, which I love 3D cards that fold flat. So I followed her tutorial, and of course I wanted to make a ScanNCut file. You absolutely do not need an electronic cutter to make these, and I'll show you both ways, and or briefly, and I'll link to 2 different videos that show how to make these without a cutter. But if you've got a ScanNCut and you want to use my cut file, I'll put a link to a cut file, and it will also include these baby blocks for decorating the card. I've left mine blank. Most people decorate the back, but there's nowhere to write if you do that. The other alternative is to pin a tag, make a separate tag and pin it to the back for writing on. Some of the other ideas people had, they've dangled things inside the little boxes here, and also the suggestion to put a gift card in the gap here. I would suggest using a strong card. This particular one is not as strong as it should be, and I've had to put a little U in there just to strengthen it enough so it doesn't fall over. But that's my baby one, and then this is probably a wedding or engagement, and again I've just put a sentiment on the back, but you decorate the top of the steps so that, you know, they can equally be steps as well as blocks. And yes, you can see the lean on this one, poor old thing. Whereas this, I used a much stiffer card for both these, and they stand up beautifully. And that's just a nature sort of one. So I'll show you what I've done. Now, this is how my ScanNCut file cuts out, and this is what happens if you make it just with cutting in a scoreboard. So the main difference is that mine is a fraction smaller by just a tiny bit, because I have built the flap into this, and if you do it the ruler way, you've got to stick a flap on the end. So that's where the difference comes. If you've got a long mat on your ScanNCut and you can cut more than 12 inches, then you could turn this around and cut it long ways and make it bigger. But the other thing is, when you do it the scoring way, you've got all these cubes scored on it, which if you are not turning it into one that's got cubes, like some of them have, I don't know if I did it or not, but well, this sort of does, where some of them had long pictures down here, and if you Google image search for block cards, you'll find quite a few examples, and there's also a Pinterest page that had them. So you see all the different ways people have decorated them, and they're obviously far more common than I thought, but I just never run into them before. So if you're going to do it the scoring way, you want a piece of paper that's 4.5 by 12, and then you just score it every 1.5 inches in both directions, and you end up with this. Then you cut out this shape in the, well, it's not the middle, it's this one is 4 squares in, and then you put a slit here, and a slit here, and there, and there, and then you assemble the way I'll show you on this ScanNCut one. So I've even done dotted lines on it, which I don't normally like, but I thought if I'm going to do this, I may as well do it like that. So anyway, all we're going to do is put some tape on the flap. It comes together really quickly, and then you want tape on these 2 squares. Peel the back off. My 7-year-old grandson made one of these without any trouble yesterday, and to decorate I gave him some pre-done pictures and a square punch, and he punched out his shapes and stuck them on, and because he crafts sometimes. whereas my granddaughter was sitting there and making several pictures during the time it took us, with lots of things stuck on and lots of colours and lots of distress ink and super crafter. So we're going to fold. Actually, I should have done the folds first. So we've got a fold there and a fold there and up the top, and then there's another one here, another one here, and you've got two long ones on the bottom which you'll probably want to use a bone folder on. There's that one and the flap, and then we're just going to lie it down. And you've got this one comes in under here. We'll line it up and fold this down. I found it easier to do it this way because then you know it's going to fold flat. So that's that part done, and there's your steps. Then you're just going to take the tape off the flap, backing off the flap. I always say take the tape off, it's very silly. Fold that. Actually this one, I didn't say that. This one you might want to just line up and do it that way. Then it should still fold flat. Just coerce it a little bit if it needs it. For some reason it usually folds better one direction than the other. Anyway, that's the... I haven't folded that quite straight, that's possibly why. That's the basic card, so then you just decorate it however you wish, and like I say, you don't need a cutter, but these are just a fraction smaller. I think because these are 1.5 inches, if you've got a 1 3/8 inch square punch, that will do your decorating for you. There's 15 squares to decorate if you do both sides and the top. And like I say, I prefer to leave the back for somewhere to write. But I love that they fold flat for it to go in an envelope. As I say, sometimes they fold better one way than another. But that is cute. So that's today's offering, and I hope you have fun making some blocks cards. I'm not sure if they're block cards or blocks cards, but or stair step was the other name I heard. Anyway, thanks for watching.